If you do get back on brand risk, do you want a rematch or who do you want to fight?
I probably won't get back on brand risk because you tampering with the bets.
Never that. Never that. I don't know what he's talking about.
Adin Ross just pulled off what might be his wildest, most chaotic boxing event yet. And the internet didn't just react. It split straight down the middle. The response wasn't just mixed, it was fractured in a way that says a lot about where his brand is really heading right now. On the surface, sure, the event did exactly what it was built to do. It grabbed attention on a massive scale. Clips, flooded timelines, and conversations took over every platform. For a moment, it felt like everybody was locked in watching the same thing. The reasons behind that attention? Not even close to the same. Some people tuned in for pure entertainment, just there for the madness and spectacle. Others showed up because something about the whole situation felt off from the jump, like it wasn't just another typical influencer fight.
I'm a good person.
You listen to me.
Do you like me?
No!
What?
I don't like you. I've never liked you. I hate you.
What?
I can't fucking stand you. I think you're an asshole.
All right.
I'm being serious.
I know. Yeah.
You know something?
What?
You know what kills me about you?
What?
You did this, right? You threw money at me so that you could hope that some kicks my...
Hey! What the fuck is that?
No, that's what you want.
No, I don't!
You want...
I'm gonna go get my yarmulke too. I'm gonna wear my
You should!
Yeah, I'm gonna wear my yarmulke today.
It's like a smacking off your head.
And that strange energy traces back to one decision that changed everything. Adin Ross decided to put Gypsy Crusader on the card, and instantly the tone shifted. This wasn't just chaos for clicks anymore. It brought in a figure whose reputation goes way beyond entertainment and straight into heavy controversy. Gypsy Crusader isn't just seen as edgy or provocative by a lot of people, not even close. For many, he represents something way more extreme, and that label sticks to him no matter where he shows up. Still, there's a part of the internet that engages with him anyway, whether it's support or just curiosity. Either way, the outcome stays the same. He brings numbers. And from a strategy angle, that's probably exactly why the decision made sense in the first place. Because if you look at it strictly through growth, it worked like crazy. The event blew up fast, clips everywhere, non-stop conversation, no breaks at all. But here's where things start getting messy. Influence isn't just about how many eyes you pull in. It's about what you stand next to. And that's where everything began to fall apart, almost instantly. Criticism started building, especially from inside the streaming world itself. Creators like Blackboy Max didn't stay quiet, openly calling Adin out, not just for the move, but for what it actually represents. The argument wasn't just about one guest, not even close. It was about direction. Adin Ross built his original identity by acting like a bridge between totally different worlds. He linked streamers with rappers, mixed audiences that usually stayed separate, and created a kind of cultural crossover that actually felt natural at the time. That was his edge. That was what made him stand out. That's what made people pay attention in the first place.
Bro, y'all know how I feel about Adin, like, you feel me? Part of the reason why I started streaming, but I feel like he do be doing some nuts shit, like, which is so weird to me because of where he started, like,
I can't say anything about it. This is my event. I host
he
it.
started as a hub of pop culture, you feel me?
They want to discuss why they thought it was the way it was.
But I mean, his career is his career, bro. Like, it is what it is, bro.
I'm sorry.
Now though, the perception is shifting in a big way. Instead of connecting cultures, it feels like he's leaning straight into controversy just to grab attention. And yeah, that kind of move can spike numbers fast, no doubt about it, but it also changes how people look at everything else you do. Once that label sticks, every decision starts getting questioned. Every move starts looking calculated in a different way. Adin's response to all the backlash lines up perfectly with how he's been moving lately through his brand and these high-risk events. He's made it clear that his approach is simple. He'll platform anyone, no matter their reputation. In his eyes, it's about rejecting the idea that certain people should be completely shut out. He frames it as pushing back against cancel culture, building a space where anyone can show up and be heard. On paper, that sounds consistent, maybe even fair. But in reality, it creates a much bigger problem that's way harder to control. Because not all controversy hits the same, not even close. Adin fired back at Blackboy Max by pointing out what he sees as a double standard. If other creators bring on guests with allegations or messy pasts, why is his move getting singled out? At first glance, that argument sounds reasonable. The internet does pick and choose what to be mad about all the time. But the difference here actually matters. There's a gap between someone being tied to allegations and someone whose entire online identity is built on repeated, well-documented behavior that a lot of people see as harmful. One exists in uncertainty, the other exists in a clear pattern, and people react to those two things very differently. That's exactly why this situation got messy so fast. It didn't just highlight one controversial booking, it exposed something way deeper. It showed how shaky and inconsistent the boundaries really are across the streaming world, and how fast those cracks start showing when someone pushes things too far. At the same time, the backlash didn't just stay with creators, not at all. Entire communities started reacting. Even audiences that used to support, or at least tolerate these kinds of events, began questioning where everything was headed. You had moments where whole fan bases were turning on their own favorite creators just for being linked to the event. That's when you know it's no longer surface-level drama. It hits different at that point. Because now, it's not just about what someone did, it's about association itself. And once it reaches that level, everything changes. It stops being about individual actions and turns into who you choose to stand next to, who you're willing to share a platform with, and what that says about you, whether you like it or not. Then the event itself added even more tension to the situation. When Superhot Fire stepped into the ring against Gypsy Crusader, the audience already had their minds made up in a way. People weren't just watching a fight, they were watching a storyline unfold in real time. And by most accounts, the energy inside the arena was leaning heavily in one direction. It felt like Superhot Fire had done enough to win, plain and simple. The crowd reacted like it, the commentary leaned that way, and even Adin seemed to respond like the outcome was obvious. But then everything flipped. The decision went the other way. A split decision win for Gypsy Crusader. That moment didn't just confuse people, it hit like a shock and instantly made the situation even more intense. It amplified everything that had already been building, because now it wasn't just about the controversial booking anymore. On top of all that tension, you suddenly had a result that didn't match what people felt they just watched with their own eyes. The reaction was instant. Frustration, accusations flying everywhere, clips spreading even faster, and debates popping up non-stop. Adin even went as far as posting the official scorecards, which shows just how quickly things spiraled. But instead of calming things down, that move did the exact opposite. It stretched the conversation out even further, gave people more to pick apart, more angles to argue from, and way more reasons to stay locked in. And that's the pattern playing out right now. Every decision creates another wave of noise. Every attempt to explain just opens the door for more interpretations, and every new layer builds a story that's no longer fully in Adin's control. That's what happens when influence starts shifting away from connection and leans into controversy. At first, it looks like straight growth. Bigger views, more attention, more visibility everywhere. But over time, the type of attention starts to change, and not in a good way. It becomes less about what you're building and more about what you're willing to platform just to keep that momentum alive. And once people notice that shift, they don't just sit back and watch anymore. They start judging where you stand, what you support, and what you're willing to overlook.
Everyone should really stay in their own lane. You're a streamer, bro, and as a streamer, you're here to express yourself. You came up from expressing yourself, and Max, you shouldn't really cater to cancel culture because you've been canceled, which is not real, multiple times by the community you're trying to stand by. There's nothing wrong with platforming people that have platforms, which, by the way, they don't just hate black people, he hates Jewish people too. The name is literally brand risk, and I just don't appreciate people trying to tell me, oh, what I shouldn't and should do on how to stream. I've been doing this for years, bro, and brand risk is something going really well, and this is the most successful event. You don't have to like Gypsy. I wanted Gypsy to lose too. He won, but it's just really stupid. These streamers pick and choose when to call something out. Everyone needs to be consistent. They need to be consistent. Then don't watch my event. Don't support my event. Don't text me supporting it. Then don't watch. If it doesn't live up to your morals, then don't watch.
Then things escalated even further, pushing this way past a normal controversial event. According to Superhot Fire, during the fight itself, Gypsy Crusader allegedly directed a racist slur at him, and reports suggested it may have continued backstage as well. If that's accurate, it explains why the tone online changed so fast.
It's that simple. And I see like communities getting on people's asses for pulling up. Dude, these streamers don't give a fuck about you. They all text me, they call me, we're friends outside of the shit. It's sad. Parasocial shit, it's cringe.
Bro, like I said, peace and love to everybody. If you want a platform weird, that's fine, bro. That's not shit. It's not my platform. Please stop sending me links like that. I'm not even want to give that shit attention.
Oh, but it's okay to platform rappers with fucking weird sex allegations and beating their girlfriends and all this stuff. Like, dude, everyone needs to be consistent, this moral higher ground. Like, it's just like, dude, it's just enough's enough.
At that point, the conversation isn't about risky promotion or edgy personalities anymore. It turns into something way more serious, and the backlash hits on a completely different level. It turns into a bigger question. Should certain behavior ever be given a stage in front of millions of people? That's where the real conflict sits. From a business angle, controversy has always been baked into combat sports. The formula is simple, and it works. Big personalities create tension. Tension pulls attention, and attention brings in numbers every single time. This isn't new, and it's definitely not unique to this event. You can look at organizations like the UFC and see the same pattern play out again and again. Fighters like Sean Strickland have built entire followings off being unpredictable. He says whatever comes, to mind. No filter, no warning. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it crosses the line. But either way, people tune in because they don't know what he's going to say next. That unpredictability sells, no question about it. Even voices like DJ Academics have leaned into that reality, openly pointing out that controversial personalities bring attention whether people agree with them or not. And if you're only looking at the numbers, that logic checks out. Attention is attention, and it converts. But there's always a limit, and this event showed exactly what happens when that line gets tested in real time. Because there's a difference, a big one. There's a gap between someone being loud, reckless, or offensive for entertainment, and someone whose entire identity is tied to behavior that people see as genuinely harmful. When that line gets crossed, everything changes fast. The same controversy that pulls in viewers also brings a level of backlash that's way harder to manage, way harder to contain, and way harder to recover from. At the same time, the night wasn't just about that one fight, not even close. The main event between DDG and Blueface brought in a completely different kind of controversy. This time, it showed how perception can split even when the result looks clear on paper. Officially, DDG walked away with a unanimous decision win. But that didn't stop the debate from exploding right after. That means every single judge saw the fight clearly in DDG's favor. No debate on paper. The Florida State Athletic Commission scored it that way, and technically, that's the result that counts at the end of the day. But the internet? It wasn't having it at all. Almost instantly, clips started spreading everywhere, with people arguing that Blueface had done enough to take the win instead. Social media turned into a full-on battleground of opinions. Suddenly, casual viewers were breaking down rounds like experts, scoring exchanges, debating, pressure, and arguing over who really controlled the fight. This is where combat sports and internet culture collide, and when they do, it gets messy fast. Because judging a fight isn't just about who lands the cleanest punch, not even close. It's about activity, pressure, ring control, and who's setting the pace every second. A fighter can be moving forward, throwing more, controlling space, and still win rounds, even if every punch doesn't land perfectly. Those are the details judges are trained to watch closely. But that's not how most people experience a fight when they're watching live. Most viewers react to moments, big hits, visible reactions, dramatic exchanges, the kind of clips that go viral. So when the official decision doesn't match that emotional experience, it creates a disconnect, and that disconnect turns into arguments instantly. In this case, things escalated even more when Blueface publicly questioned the result, even suggesting that money or gambling could have played a role. That kind of claim doesn't just add tension, it changes the entire conversation. Now, it's not just about who won rounds, it's about trust in the system itself. And once trust enters the discussion, everything becomes way more unstable, way more intense, and way harder to control. At the same time, you can see exactly why both fighters were so valuable to the event, because no matter what side people took, they stayed watching and kept talking. Blueface isn't just another name on the card, not even close. He's a draw in every sense of the word. Reports saying he pulled in over $300,000 for the fight make it crystal clear how much value he brings when it comes to attention and audience pull. That kind of payout doesn't happen by accident. It reflects real demand, and that demand directly shapes how events like this are built from the ground up. Big names create big reactions, and big reactions keep the whole machine running.
Time, gotta put respect to it. To all my brothers and sisters, I love you guys. Always salute to the power that it be above. I thank you guys. I never wanted anything to harm you guys at all. So for that, my condolences to all you guys and to the slavery and everything that's ever happened mentally.
But what really made this event stand out was how many layers of controversy stacked up all at once in a single night. You had debates over who should even be given a platform, accusations about behavior crossing the line, questionable decisions, and people arguing about fairness all happening at the same time. That's not just random noise, that's momentum building in real time, and momentum like that can go two completely different ways. On one side, this was easily the biggest and most talked about brand risk event so far. The production keeps getting better, the reach keeps expanding, and the attention is growing with every single event. From a growth standpoint, that's exactly what you want, no question about it. But on the other side, the type of attention matters more than people think.
Can we get you back in here, bro? Can we see you back in brand risk?
Hey, you know damn well you ain't gonna lose your own money on your own fight card. I definitely wouldn't score that in a unanimous decision. I'd give it 4-2. But hey, shout out to brand risk.
Shout out to brand risk. And Blue, if you do get back on brand risk, do you want a rematch or who do you want to fight?
I probably won't get back on brand risk because you tampering with the bets.
Never that. Never that. I don't know what he's talking about.
There's a huge difference between people tuning in because they're excited and people tuning in because they want to watch controversy unfold. One builds long-term credibility and something that can actually last. The other creates short-term spikes that look big in the moment but are way harder to sustain over time. And right now, Adin Ross is sitting directly in the middle of those two paths. He's building something that's clearly getting bigger with every event. But at the same time, he's testing just how far this formula can go before the backlash starts outweighing the benefits. And this event might be the clearest example yet of that balance being pushed right to the edge. Even his response after everything went down shows that tension. He addressed criticism about sounding biased during the fights, which makes sense when you're both the promoter and part of the broadcast. In combat sports, there's always an expectation of neutrality. But at the same time, this isn't a traditional promotion, and that line between entertainment and fairness keeps getting more blurred every time. The crowd, the commentators, and the overall energy in the building made one thing obvious: not every outcome was going to land the same way with everyone. And that's something you can't fully control, no matter how big the platform gets. The moment you bring certain personalities into the spotlight, that's the trade-off right there. You gain attention fast, but you lose predictability just as quickly. And as brand risk keeps growing, that trade-off is going to define what this whole thing turns into. That kind of chaos, it keeps people hooked. It keeps them refreshing their feeds, checking for updates, and staying locked into every moment. Adin Ross is clearly trying to build something that actually stands out in a space where most events start to feel repetitive over time. He's not playing it safe, not even a little bit. He's not limiting himself to one type of audience or one type of personality either. Instead, he's leaning straight into risk, pulling in names that guarantee attention, even if they also guarantee backlash at the same time. And that approach comes with a very real trade-off you can't ignore. Sometimes it delivers massive numbers, viral clips everywhere, and a level of engagement most creators can't even touch. Other times it creates controversy that doesn't just disappear when the event ends, it sticks around and keeps growing. That's the reality of running something built on visibility. Because in today's internet, attention isn't always positive, but it still counts. People are watching either way. Whether they support it or not, they're sharing clips, debating results, and pushing the conversation further than any promotion could on its own. The fighters walk away with bigger checks, the names start trending, and the events keep getting larger every time. That tells you something is working, even if the whole process looks messy from the outside. The real question is where this growth goes next, and that's where things get interesting. There's a version of this where brand risk evolves into something more structured, where big personalities are still part of the formula, but the decisions around them are tighter and more controlled. That would mean finding a balance between shock value and long-term credibility, because controversy can build momentum fast, but it can also reshape what people expect from the brand entirely. At the same time, the foundation is already there. The audience is locked in, the production keeps improving, and the scale is growing with every single event. If those pieces keep leveling up while some of the rough edges get cleaned up, this could turn into something way bigger than what it is right now. Even small changes could shift everything. Something as simple as bringing in fully neutral commentators could completely change how the event feels to viewers, especially when the person running the promotion is also reacting live. Little adjustments like that might not seem huge at first, but they can seriously impact how the whole thing is perceived. It blurs the line between organizer and participant, and that's where things start getting tricky. Real reactions are normal, especially in high-pressure moments like this, but perception hits just as hard as reality in this space. Total neutrality sounds simple on paper, but in real time, with a loud crowd and big stakes, it's way harder to actually pull off. That pressure is part of what makes these events feel so raw and unfiltered, and people are drawn to that energy. But at the same time, it opens the door wide for criticism, and that's really what this whole situation comes down to. Brand risk is growing fast, no doubt about it, but it's growing in a way that constantly tests its own limits. Every event pushes things a little further, pulls in more eyes, and sparks even bigger reactions. So the real question isn't whether people are watching, because they clearly are. The real question is why they're watching and what that means for where this platform goes next. That's where things get serious. Now, I want to hear what you think. How do you feel about Adin Ross bringing someone like Gypsy Crusader onto brand risk? Was it a smart move from a business angle, or did it cross a line that shouldn't have been crossed? And be real. Would you want to see him back on another card, or did this go too far? Also, who do you think actually won between Blueface and DDG? Do you agree with the judges, or are you siding with what the internet has been saying? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video so more people can see it. And drop your opinion in the comments, because in a situation like this, the audience reaction matters just as much as the event itself. Share this with someone who's been following the drama, and I'll catch you in the next one.